Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I got the shop cleaned up, at least good enough. Now, I'm getting ready to weld these up. Still going to try and get the big welder tied in, but if I don't get that done, I'm going to go ahead and stick weld them because I'm tired of waiting. What I need to do is weld these steel plates onto the bottom of this, well, it would be the top once it's up in the rafters. These are the mounting places that I'm going to use to mount the track to this rafter up here. I've got to mount it on this rafter and the far one. We're going to have track going completely from left side of the building to the right side of the building. I have to put a splicer in the middle so that I got it all joined together, and I think I got to add about 2 feet to the track. So that's going to make it a project and a half, but that's how you get things done. I got to climb up there and use the tape measure and get me some markings. This is the south end of the hoist rail. The first mount wants to be 12 inches. Now, there's an angle bracket at 2 feet 4 inches. That's right there. That's that piece of angle. So I need to move this down about here. This lands right in the center of that piece of angle iron. That'll mean that it won't want to, I can't get a bolt up through it. Only 5 inches from the end. foot 5 inches. Foot 5 to 7 foot 8. I need to move this one down. 86. 88. 7 foot 17. short bit of work, but it's vital. I need to be able to make all the beams so that the brackets are welded on in a place where they won't interfere with anything else on the beam. If the rafter brackets happen to fall where I weld one of those things, I won't be able to use it. It'll be a wasted effort. So a little bit of measurement, a little bit of thinking makes the whole thing work better. So now I can lay out the two beams, clamp on the mount plates, and get them ready to weld up. Won't do that tonight though. It's nearly 11 o'clock and my day is done. But I wanted to get this far in the process, at least have it measured out to know where I could go and plan for any problems. Doesn't look like there's any problems going to be coming up. So turn off the furnace fans. I got a couple of logs in. They seem to last overnight. If I put a couple of logs in before I go in the house, it'll bank the fire and it'll just keep going, and I can come out in the morning and throw some more wood in it and heat it back up again. If I leave the burner fans going, you know, that little combustion air fan, the logs burn up too quick. I don't need to have the room heated up hot. All I want to do is have the fire keep going. I'm in the middle of putting up the hoist rails, and as always, there's like 4 things got to happen before I get everything done. But follow along, you're going to see how it works out. I think this hoist is going to work really good, and I got a couple of ideas already to modify it and make it better than what my original plan was. So just follow along. You're going to see changes. The things that you thought were going to happen in the beginning might not be what it actually ends up. There will be a hoist up there. It's going to be a bridge crane, but it might be a better bridge crane. If you have any suggestions for new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.